Those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
those guys.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. How is everyone out there doing? And as you know, it is Wednesday night, the middle of the week, and it is hump day. And as you know, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
Those guys.
So what's going on there, Lawrence? What's going on? How has your week been going?
My week is going good. I don't know. I had a decent weekend. Johnny Drone Flyer, Stephen Flyby Guys, SJM, John Olson, and I think someone else, but for some reason the computer just locked up on me. But what's up, everyone? I'm good. It's just Wednesday. It's hump day.
Man, the middle of the week, it's hump day. How has everybody's week been going? Hey, what's going on in there, Gary? How's everyone's week been going? I hope everybody's been able to get out and fly. We've been having some off and on. We've had good skies, and sometimes the wind has been bad for the drone, and sometimes you got to catch the windows.
Bipolar weather.
Yeah, but today and last night were some good nights, and last night was a good night if you wanted to get out and do some evening flying or some golden hour. That was, the winds were calm and everything. You could have got out and get some nice shots and stuff like that. That's here. I don't know about any place else.
Yeah.
Today has been pretty good for the most part. I don't know how it is right now, but
it's a little windy and the temperature dropped, at least where I'm at.
Well, okay. But there's a lot of spots here and there we had to find those, to get to be able to fly, and even then, and then with that and being able to flying recreational, sometimes you take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. What was it? A guy told me once when I was working in construction, he was like, some days you eat the beer, and some days the beer eats you.
That's funny, but true. It applies.
Yeah, and that's and it is what it is.
Welcome back, SJM. How are you?
SJM, what's going on, man? A few guys in here. I see Stephen in there. I see Gary.
Yeah. Irvin Mitchell, what's up? How are you? Sorry, but my screen had froze. Now I have it back. I have control back. Logan Carpenter was in earlier also as well.
I saw he came in earlier.
How are you guys? It's hump day. Did anyone get a chance to fly during the week? Because like Herman said, here in New York, the weather's Mother Nature's bipolar. It's beautiful today and last night. And because I have a free day tomorrow, it's going to rain in the evening, and it's just all screwed up.
See, it's good for it's like Florida weather. It moves in and moves out.
Right, and then Friday it's supposed to rain in the morning and not in the evening,
but we get a little cold with
it. Yeah, definitely. But it's another
rain in and out. We get the wind in and out.
Yeah, that's a part of living in New York. We have wind coming from off the ocean, inland, up north, all directions. For some strange reason where we are.
Irving, what's up, man?
But anyway,
it's what you said, guy?
It's Wednesday and we're back again. It's one of the busiest nights on the internet. We are going to have a decent live stream tonight. Irvin says it's raining here in Atlanta. See, that rain is going to be here tomorrow evening going into Friday. Gary says it's windy there. He got to fly yesterday, but Gary still, and them, I believe, still don't have any snow yet, which is a rarity.
Well, you see, what's funny about that? And we spoke on this before. I told you I watched a couple of programs on this before we got into the winter. This was during the summertime, and they've been predicting this for a long time. That this year We weren't gonna
Yeah.
have, we weren't gonna have a major winter. The snowfall was gonna be below the average. And then when they got into talking about the average snowfall we have here in New York City and why, with our humid atmosphere, I was like, wow, that's why we only, and we don't, we get like an average of somewhere like in between like about 12 to 19 inches of snow.
Yeah. 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 On a good winter.
That's the average.
Oh, that's the average. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the
Well,
average because of you average up like we get a lot of snowfalls that are like a couple of inches. Every now and then you see 12 inches of snow one time. We don't really see.
yeah.
That's what they call a snowstorm here in New York. Anything from
Well, I just wanted to point that I know, right? And then it turns all dirty. It turns slushy. But I just wanted to point out for those of you drone pilots out there, this is not a paid endorsement, but I actually flew through a notify and fly. I was telling you, and I saw somebody doing some mapping, and I immediately pulled out before you fly. And because it was so close to the airport, I actually saw the notify and fly circle. So apparently they were working. It did not show any identification of a drone. It just said within this circle there was a drone flying in that area up to 400 feet, and that was it. But if you haven't used the app, it works. Hey,
you should use the app. I mean, and you know what's funny about that? In the beginning, right? When we first got into this, they
Bill,
recommended that Part 107 guys not rely on
the apps
and stuff like that to do it the proper way and go through the proper channels and get this information. And I was like,
But back then, also, if you recall, we also had to call the airport.
Well, yeah.
That was the transition. We came in during the transition.
But that was a little different. I'm talking about as far as like 107 and being responsible for like knowing certain things and like that you now can get from that app.
Yeah, that's true.
You had to have you was supposedly responsible for having to have the damn, I can't even remember these damn things.
Know the METAR for the area?
The app, the maps and stuff like that, and right, and
oh, I get it.
But see, but now we've relied on stuff like Sky Vector.
True.
And apps that have all this stuff broadcasted.
That is very true.
And it's accepted now for using these apps and I guess now what is it now? Before you fly, it wasn't as sophisticated when they first released it.
Exactly, it wasn't, but and
it got better.
It did advance a lot.
Right.
It did advance. They started out just showing you the average altitudes you could fly, etc., and went from that to allowing you to apply for Lance, allowing you to notify and fly. If you were not approved by Lance, you could still notify and fly. Now we have to point out, notify and fly doesn't mean you have permission to fly there. It's notifying anyone in the area that there's a drone. Just because you were denied Lance and notify and fly says, okay, you can fly for up to an hour, it doesn't mean. It's a good question. We're going to get into that SE in a little bit, Irvin, because he says, what do y'all think about the Mini 2 SE? And to me, honestly, I really think that
what happened to the Mini? What happened?
It's a big fail for me.
But wow.
No, I just me. Oh, duck and blows.
the Mini 2 SEs on the rope. Lawrence is firing shots. Oh, the Mini 2 is trying to,
Go for the
trying to,
body shots.
trying to
So
stay off the ropes.
don't try and knock them out. Go for the body shots. Those hurt more. But
That's
no, me personally, I won't be getting the SE. I don't have a need for it. As far as a beginner class drone, and this is me being serious, he asked, what do we think about the Mini 2 SE?
okay.
It's
Well,
a great dumbed down version of all the minis out there. And if you're a beginner, I would highly suggest it for any beginner. 2.7 camera, older transmission system. I mean, it says they claim 10 kilometers, which is 5 miles. Why you would want to risk 5 miles with that, I don't know. But hey, Chin Dynasty, what's good, man?
no,
How are
but what happened is, right? Okay, we spoke about this 100 times. When I first got in, when I first discovered these drones, the cost to get in was like $1,500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after
even used, even refurbished was still over $1,000.
No, but what I'm saying is, after they came out with the what was it, the Phantom 3 Pro.
Yeah,
you were able to get the Wi-Fi one for cheaper. You know what I mean? And
yes, you were.
You know, you had the slightly less expensive one from the afterwards from the from the Pro was the Advance.
Yes.
And what I didn't understand about, well, I did, because it had the
Pro camera on it.
No, it had the same camera that was on the standard, but it had the light bridge system in it.
Oh, yeah. Correction.
Whereas that the standard,
I'm outdated.
Where was the standard was Wi-Fi, and here in the city, if you didn't have like some jacked up antenna on it, you wasn't getting that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although when I went upstate with it, with the jacked up antenna, I was amazed at how far it could go and not one bar dropped on this thing. And I'm like, wow, at home, you can't.
Impressive. At home, so much
barely get this thing out of line of sight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, you see like the normal flight that I take to test the drone?
Mm-hmm.
With the Phantom 3 standard cannot make that trip. It cannot make that trip across Calvert Vox to Kaiser and come back. It cannot make that trip with that Wi-Fi. Now, see how the technology has grown?
Yeah.
Whereas that same advanced Wi-Fi that DJI came with, that drone would make that trip.
Well, apparently the Mini 2 SE, what transmission system is that?
Well, that's going to be on.
That's the Wi-Fi 2 or something like that.
It's going to be on the It's going to be on the O2 transmission system.
Oh, the O2. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Oh,
impressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just a 2.7K camera.
That's the only difference.
Right.
All right.
Now, what makes it so interesting is that, well, to the guy just getting into the thing, it's like what I said to you before. The fact that when we first got into the drone game, the entry level to get in was like $1,500 until they made they came out with they dropped the price on the standard.
Yeah.
Because at one point it was just the Phantom.
Right. Because when I came into the game, and you're 100%, 1,500 was a little steep for me. So I admit it, I didn't mind. I brought a Phantom 4 standard, which didn't have a working aperture, none of that stuff. And I got to learn to love the Phantom. And I went from that Phantom 4 standard to a Phantom 4 Pro.
Well, see, but that was because
my eyes were like, huh?
Well, that was because what they did was the upgrade in the from the what do you call it, the Phantom 3 Pro
Yeah.
to come out with the Phantom 4.
Well, it was a smart move. Plus another Sky
okay.
DO2.
Didn't they put I had what, front sensors on it?
Yes.
Was it front?
It had front, back, and down.
Right, and
the only thing it didn't have
ground.
was sides,
right,
like the Phantom 4 Pro.
And it disappeared. And then when they came out with the Pro, they came with all the sensors all the way around. And they increased the sensor size on the camera, and they gave you the adjustable aperture. No other drone had that. 4K.
At that time, and for a while, until recent time. Until recent time.
60 with a mechanical shutter. Now they actually just piecemeal all of those features and put them in other drones. But we talk about the Mini 2 SE. They had the launch that surprised everybody, I guess. Well, not really, because there was.
If you want to call it a launch.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a video they threw out.
Turn on sharing.
They didn't even have they just threw out the video. They didn't even have anybody they really didn't even have anyone talking about it. It was just a video for you to watch. They didn't have
pretty much
speaking in the video either.
Pretty much.
Yeah, check out the video. Not a bad little video, but I just...
They actually did pretty good. And what they did was, if you notice, they specialized on the smart features of active track, things like that, which is going to make this drone, I said phone because I saw her with the iPhone, which is going to make this bird sell.
Well, see, that's the point of it, Lawrence. You're right. I think that this drone is good to those people who are just, hanging out, having a good time with it. They're going to play around with it. Do your social media thing like that thingy, but whatever. Like what you see going on here. And I get it.
I do too. I just don't agree with this following the car part. You're not supposed to fly a drone from a moving car. Unless authorized to do so. But these are average Joes. I would not suggest it. If you're doing it for a commercial or you're a 107 pilot, then I highly suggest it. But if you get caught with a drone falling behind your car, then see what happens.
I know the police might not like it, but
this is where I'm going with it.
Would they know?
Listen, he comes around the corner and you go past him in a car with a drone following you.
Well, if it's an active track at 100 and something feet in the air, would he know?
Oh no, they wouldn't notice it then, but SJM says he has the P4P and it's still a very good drone. It is more than good. It's more than good. We've discussed that and had many shows specifically on that.
Bro, that's that was the point what I was just saying.
Johnny Dronefly says buy the Mini 2 instead. But Johnny, for the price,
Johnny, you're right.
But a guy that doesn't want to spend $500, this is what you would get.
But Johnny, see, this is exactly what Lawrence and I was saying, and I agree with you on that. If you're just looking for a good drone to get into the game, you're right. I agree with you on that. But once again, we go back to like what I said before. When I first came into the game, the price to get in was $1,500.
It is not
until they made the Phantom 3 standard a little cheaper.
Yes. Do you see what Gary put? He says, I don't see the Mini 2 on SE, the Mini 2 SE on DJI's website. Is it available in North America? It's on their website.
I've from what I understand, it's not going to be available to the 22nd of March.
Mark Fisher. But from what we can see here in the States, Gary, they can see it's on the website, right?
Yeah, but
you can't click any link on it or anything.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's supposedly not going to be available to March 22nd. I don't
Right.
know.
But
Don't quote
it's
me on it, but
Johnny,
that's from
Johnny,
what I
stop.
understand.
Yeah, hold on. He says
Whatever.
369 is too much for old tech. The only old tech you're getting is a 2.7 camera. For
Right.
$400, listen to what you're getting. For $400, you're getting a drone with a camera a little less than 4K. They're not trying to sell it to you or me. They're trying to sell it to the person who's on the borderline of buying a drone. And for $400, that's not too bad if you put away $100 a week.
Well, I think more so to like the guy that wants to get it just to use it with the family and hang out and do little
Right.
family activities with it, and that's a cheap price. I hate to say cheap, but that's a easy price to get into. And honestly, let's be for real on this. And I told you this before, Lawrence. With that price, there's no need for you to buy a Holly Stone drone ever again.
Right. They're knocking out those guys with the Holly Stone drones.
Makes no sense.
Right. I'm not going to
Some
spend
of the prices that some of
$120
those
or
drones come in at.
$150 or $170 on a drone that's going to drift when the wind blows.
Some of those drones come in at higher prices than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen as high as $180 for a Holly Stone drone.
Go to Amazon.
It did not have GPS.
So Lawrence, go to Amazon and check out the price of some of these toy grade drones that come in just around that same price.
For $369, right?
You know what you're getting.
Hold on.
You know the DJI reputation of flight.
Yeah, yes. For $369, you're 100% right. Let's do it right. Let's take a look now and see, right?
Some of those drones on Amazon are they going to sell for like 300.
Holly Stone?
Well, not even Holly Stone. Just look up drones, period, on Amazon. You see the price of some of these drones.
Beginner.
I was crazy
drone.
when I saw some of the prices.
This is what beginner drone with camera. And let's see what comes up. If you notice, it says for kids, for adults. Let's try for adults.
Oh, for adults, yeah.
And see. First one comes up, Holy Stone. $287 right here with Prime. We'll look at the specs. Let's see what else they got. All right, they finally have something with brushless motors, professional grade.
We got a $500 joint, right?
Hold on, here's one, 4K Ultra HD. It's for adults, $559. You get two batteries with it, a camera on top. It's $250. All right, it's a mini. Oh, this is the Protenic Atom. A couple of guys did reviews on those. But
yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
If you're looking at the quality of these drones here in comparison to a drone for $369, none of these drones here compare.
Yeah, I mean,
if you look at it,
that's one way of looking at it. But I mean, did we actually need it?
Let's put $370 added to. Let's add a beginner drone with camera for $370, and let's see what comes up.
What is
it? This is toy grade Holy Stone GPS 1080p, a 2-axis gimbal drone right here. Let's see what the prices are.
Price on it?
$529.
So
it's $359. Okay, $359. Let's just click on it just for good old sake. The Ruco F11 drone 4K 2-axis gimbal. It's right there. Let's stop. DJI has a 3-axis. 56 minute battery time. No.
You get the hard case.
Level 6 wind resistant, so it can handle more wind than the Mini. And it comes with a case. 2 batteries and a case.
It's probably a little bit bigger too than the Mini.
It probably is, but we're just going to show for price wise, for the tech, something that you can put in your pocket. $369. You can't beat that.
Plus, you know how it flies.
Oh, John, hold on. Johnny says $369 for a refurbished Mini too. Hey, Chris, what's good, man?
Okay. I mean, some people might want brand new. I mean, I get you, Johnny. I feel you on the. It wasn't really that necessary. I mean, and then that's why I said I always go back to like what it costs to get in when I first started. And as you see,
$1,500
as you see
to
the
start.
tech, as you see the tech now, 2.7K. That's the same camera that was in the same size sensor that was, or the same
So
size
with tax
video shooting that was in the you know, in the Phantom 3 standard.
you see what Draymond put?
What?
To put this drone in perspective, it is parts bins drones from DJI. They had plenty of Mini 1 and Mini 2 parts laying around and put it out on the market. Draymond, yes, you're 100% right.
But Draymond, that is all tech. That is what all tech is.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they call a learning curve. We learned, and we've now figured out that we can do this and just do that and come up with this, and let's cut it in and throw it in. We learned how to do it. We perfected how to do this junk. Now we can give it that junk away for free and keep it moving and charge them for something else.
Mm-hmm. How are you, Chris? Hope all is well. And Johnny, I do agree with you in a way. In a way, $369 is a lot for a beginner to start with. But compared to when I started for $1,000. Herman started for 15. Some guys are starting for 500 and 600.
No, but what I'm saying to you, if you, well, I'm talking about a DJI level. Like I said, once they came down on the price of the Phantom 3 standard, it was easier for guys to get in with the Phantom 3 standard. I'm quite sure guys picked it up for about $600, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, they introduced the Phantom 4 Pro, not the Phantom 4, and then that was it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then 6 months later, they came out with the Phantom 4 Pro. And guys was crazy when they saw with the lava and the shots that they were getting into about 4K 60, mechanical shutter, this, blah, 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 and did this, and bit rate, and all of the talk about that drone. It was like, how much is it?
Mm-hmm.
$1,500, one battery, controller, let's go.
I look for the testing. I hope they televise it this year, Gary.
What?
Oh, they're talking F1 for Formula One. F1. I like F1 too, but I'm just starting to love E1s now.
Oh, okay. No, but seriously, I just watched that when you talk about this Mini 3. I mean, it's old news, and I'm like, from what I understand, we won't be able to see it till the third. But what there is though on what makes that so strange is that because when you go into the Fly app, there's an update that gives support for this drone. No?
Well, yeah.
When you go into the Fly app, right? Doesn't it show that there's support? There's a new version of the app. You got it. So I mean, I saw it when I turned my controller on to use it, you know, because with the new drones, you gotta use the Fly app. But it was in there. There's big talk about it, you know.
Well, the way technology is changing,
I don't know when the drone is coming out. Don't ask me when it's going to be available.
Yeah, no one actually knows.
I just tell you what I heard.
Hold on, I have plenty of DJI drones, but love the Mini 2. The SE would be a great beginner drone. I agree. I had mentioned it earlier, SJM. I bet the majority could tell from the footage if it was SE or Mini 2. I could prove you wrong on that right now. And it is a good concept, SJM. But what I mean by that is most of the pictures you guys see, I'm on this night kick. I'm doing night video pictures and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure you cannot tell an Air 2S photo compared to a Mavic 3 photo compared to a Phantom 4 photo.
Not big difference.
You could tell the difference?
If you had any reference in it.
We should do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the Phantom, right, had a tendency to have more of a coolish to a slight of a greenish tint, so slightly.
Okay. And the Mavic 3 is very warm.
Right.
That's well, that okay. All right. If
Now,
you take the raw photo, you could
mhm.
probably tell the difference. But if you post edited them, that would be a good thing to test out. If you post edited them, I doubt you could tell what camera it was taken with. It's the same thing when you look at stuff on TV and
Well,
photos. You don't
well,
know
see,
whether it's shot with a
right,
Canon
I
or
get what you're saying.
Nikon
I get what you're
or
saying because
Nikon. Yeah.
I get what you're saying because when you got the shots, the photos and stuff in front of you, and no
Oh,
matter,
oh. Go ahead. He was saying couldn't tell. I'm sorry. I was trying to stick up for the SE. I disrespected him early.
no.
I was trying to get back some brownie points
Right.
on that.
Once you post edit and stuff like that, but as far as when you start pixel peeping and stuff like that, depending on how the photo was taken, was something like what say like the Mavic 3, right?
A lot of pixel peekers in New York.
As opposed to say like the Mini 2 SE. You
Hmm.
will see in the darker areas where it would just be dark, right? And then you'll see in some of those areas, you'll see the shadows more, where you won't see them and say something like that. That's if you're peeping that hard. Yeah, you're right.
And my thing is, I've always learned, and I'll make my point, and we can go on to another subject. But my point is, it doesn't matter what kind of drone you have, as long as you use it to the best of your ability. Because when I was flying my Phantom 4 Standard, Herman, all of you guys had Phantom 4 Pros and stuff, remember? And
Mm-hmm.
then the Mavic 2 came out, and some people trickled over to the Mavic 2 Pro or whatever. But at one time, I was the only one flying with the Phantom 4 Standard. And you know what? I learned to use the fuck out of that camera.
Really?
I learned to use that camera pretty
The
damn good.
profanities.
So whether you get a $300 drone or a $2,000 drone, it's not the drone, it's the man behind the camera.
That's what it is.
That's my point.
Oh,
Yes. You could put a guy in $1 million Ferrari. That don't mean he could get it to fourth gear or sixth gear. Not every. You understand what I'm saying, though?
with the car concept, you know what? If I had never gone to the track, I would not understand what you were saying.
Right.
But
Okay.
I've seen it, and I still don't understand it. You got never mind.
Yeah. We could go on and on for that. Let's keep it moving.
No, but there's been a lot of talk about the SDKs. I've heard that the SDKs for these drones, and the kind of funny thing is that people, from what I'm understanding, there's supposed to be people they expect somewhere around April. I don't know why, for SDKs to be released for the Mini 3 line.
Yeah.
I mean, for what? I mean, to do what, waypoints or something like that? I mean, and then there's a lot of people who would love to see them released for the Mavic 3, even though you got the waypoints was released.
The
Mavic
waypoints
3.
were added, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just I get where DJI is coming from with it. Like I said before, and I said this might have been a couple of shows ago, that I heard it was a question that was proposed once, that one gentleman who was a photographer who was getting into the drone aspect of it, and he's used to shooting with full frame cameras,
Yeah.
And he was saying that he has a Phantom 4 Pro, and he likes it, although it's just a 1-inch sensor. And he was wondering, with the new technology and everything like that, is there a drone that he doesn't have to purchase 2 drones to do the same thing that he does with the Phantom 4 Pro, because of his photography work, and then being able to use it for drone work in another aspect. And the question was answered to him in that size and drone form factor, no,
Yeah.
because the reason why the Phantom 4 Pro is still around is because that DJI makes a lot of money taking the features that are found in it and selling it to you in individual drones in different ways.
Right.
And I
If
thought that was an interesting way of answering the question. But that's, so
it's neither here nor there.
because to do it, he would have to get a Mavic 3, right? Well, that would be a larger sensor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to do the drone work that he wants to do, he would have to get something with the mechanical shutter to be more accurate, to cut the rolling shutter on his accuracy and his mapping and stuff like that he was doing.
Right. Yeah, Jackson RC is saying he hopes we get a chance to come down there. I told him sometime, possibly after the weather breaks, we want to do a little more traveling, but local traveling, and that's local for us.
How local is it?
Well, a few hours drive, but we will try and
Sounds good.
work our way. Where is Chris? Where are they, in Delaware?
No, he's in Maryland, isn't he?
Oh, in Maryland? Okay. Okay. All right. Weather
Yeah.
broke today. It was 62. It didn't feel like it. Drag Herman down to Florida. Nope. Sorry. We got work.
So I
We
don't
would
know.
love to. We would love to, but I would rather make money than go spend money.
I told you if I could shift it, I'll be there.
Right. Bob Casey, how are you, man? Hope all is well.
Plus, I got
V-Dub.
family thing I got to do too. So if I can get out of that and I can shift that thing around, yeah.
V-Dub, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Basically,
Wow.
I need to travel in more spots. Right now, I'm having a hard enough time trying to fly camera drones and FPV. Right now, I've been able to fly camera drones, but my FPV is lacking because I haven't been able to get out. Any nice day that it is, it's nice out for a limited time, and there's just not enough hours in a day for me. But
I can't imagine driving down there though.
To Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, no. My days of driving past. No. 5 hours is my limit. And that's on a 5-hour energy and a Frappuccino from Starbucks. I can go 5 hours, but about that 4.5 hour, you better watch out to make sure I'm not swerving.
Wow.
Hey, I'm being honest. I'm good for 5 hours.
Okay, so the next time we go someplace, you take the wheel.
I'm good. Starbucks Frappuccino, because I don't drink coffee, so to have caffeine and a 5-hour energy.
You're not gonna get gassy or nothing because of the.
Oh no!
Because
Please.
of the flapper part of that chino. Right?
No, man, no, definitely not. Right. I've been flying so much FPV. That's right. Mark has turned into an FPV head. I flew my Mavic 3 and crashed it. He said, I've been flying FPV so much, I flew my Mavic 3 and crashed. You know why? I could probably tell you why, Mark, because what happens is, as an FPV pilot,
because of the GPS,
I started camera drone, true, Herman, but I started as a camera drone pilot, and then I switched to FPV. And at one time, I was flying more FPV than my camera drone. And I found myself trying to fly my camera drone the same way I fly FPV. And because of GPS, like Herman said, Yes, heavily caffeinated, 15-hour drive. See, Bob Casey says heavily caffeinated. He's good for 15 hours.
Wow. You know what's crazy about that, Lawrence? I told you we drove nonstop to Miami, right?
Yeah, yeah.
After I got out of trade school at like 8 o'clock in the evening, nonstop to Miami. Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, coffee,
See, Mark
and
agrees.
and what is that? No
And Pitts,
dose.
oh shit. Mark agrees. He says, "Yep, exactly." So that means he was trying to fly the camera drone like an FPV drone. The problem with it's what Herman said at the beginning: GPS. Now, if it were like the Phantom and you could switch it to Addy mode, you could do that. But
Yeah.
if you got GPS pulling you to this grid and you're trying to make this turn like that, there within lies the problem.
Although with the Addy mode, if you're not careful, know how to actually counter the sticks,
Yeah.
you'll
Interesting. See, Bob Casey, everybody's an FPV head now. That's what's up. That's what DJI and the FPV world wanted. We are no longer
the DJI
outlaws.
FPV.
We're no longer outlaws.
The DJI FPV.
Well, that too, yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah. He's flying the DJI FPV and he loves it. You're still an FPV head. You're just a DJI FPV head.
Right. There's a difference. You know
There is a difference because DJI FPV has an oh shit button.
No,
the drone will go oh shit, or you can go oh shit.
There's a difference, you know. I look at those. I look at the drones that you guys build, as opposed to like the DJI drones. The DJI drone is like something you buy off the showroom floor.
Yeah.
The FPV drones that you guys build is something like you got in your garage, and you tweak it to the point is like, yo, come on, bring that shit you bought from the showroom. Let's put it on the road. And that's the best part of having something you tweaked in the garage.
Chin Dynasty says Toronto to Daytona Beach in 22 hours with co-driver. He got 3 tickets on the way. I lucked out with none. Bull Rider, what's good? Welcome to
we made
the
it
live
all the way
stream.
down there. No tickets. I was thanking God for that because we were young back then, man. And you know the things that never mind.
Yeah, but anyway, DJI. There were right now because of DJI. There were 3 different types of pilots out there. There's your camera drone pilot. There's your FPV pilot. There's your DJI FPV pilot. So a DJI has entered another ecosphere into all of that. No?
if you want to call it that.
Yeah. So watch. I will check it out. See Bob Casey says, watch, I had to use the oh shit button. A bug smacked my camera and stuck there a couple of seconds.
Yeah, well, that's why it's there. See, I was trying to tell you, Lawrence. But then you got the twist on it, you know, what's the difference? It's like, I used to work for this guy, and he goes, you know the difference between an automobile and a car? I was like, isn't it the same thing? He was like, no. He said, when you buy a car, you adjust to it. When you buy an automobile, it adjusts to you.
Interesting. There's a tip for you guys out there, you FPV heads. To practice going fast and low and fast, you must learn to go low and slow first. Then you speed up.
Said.
And it's there you go. Anyway, see, I said she. To get back on topic, throttle control with any FPV drone is all it's about. You won't be able to stay low to the ground, but the DJI FPV drones cheat. because they have ground sensors, which kind of keep it from getting too low to the ground.
They
With
don't have terrain
FPV,
mode.
yeah, they had that terrain mode. We don't have that in true FPV, but Bob Casey and you guys out there that
Oh,
fly
let me turn
DJI
that off on
FPV
FPV.
and you're learning how to go low and fast,
No, that's
practice throttle
interesting though,
control.
Lawrence. Is that something you could turn off on the, because that's a feature like
In full acro, yes, I
that was
believe so.
yeah, because that's a feature like I was telling you was in the Phantom 4 Pro. It has terrain mode that it can set and it'll elevate as the ground. You remember when we were at what was that Rainy Park? And I showed you how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was way back then.
Wow. So Bob Casey says he rejuvenated his flying. Basically, Bob Casey, to explain how you feel, I tell camera drone people when you fly, do you remember that first feeling you had when you took off with that camera drone and it went up in the air and the adrenaline was pumping and you were all amped up? Well, magnify that times 10 when you fly FPV. Definitely.
Now, what happens when it goes into the tree?
Well, see, then like your heart, like that drone, your heart stops. I mean, and see, Mark says he was hitting 53, 1 foot off the ground. RC chasing cars today and yesterday. Mark. Unless you've done the tumble roll of death, which means you get low enough to the ground that one of your props actually hit the ground and you tumble for 150 feet because you're that low and you're moving that fast. I've done it. I'm just saying.
That's a good tumble, and it shouldn't be nothing left of the props.
Well, not just that, but the DJI drones. It becomes a rolling snowball of plastic.
Hold on.
I've done it in an FPV drone.
Oh, the DJI drone.
Carbon fiber.
I don't think it can sustain 100-foot roll.
That's my point for telling him that little tip right there.
About 5 feet.
He said he did it at 1 foot. I would suggest, Mark, learning to fly 3 feet or higher off the ground, because at that fast speed, if your camera's tilted right, you're going to get the motion blur regardless.
Well, if he can get that low, get it.
But see, they're cheating. Bob Casey just said, I get 62 miles per hour, 1 foot off the ground. Yeah. That's because of those sensors. You do that now. Wait till you put that drone in full macro. Try that shit then. Try that then.
You're burping?
Listen, all I'm saying is you better have a fire extinguisher because that bitch is going to burn.
You still be burping the ground?
Yeah, because that's your true throttle control. When you can cruise at 62, 53 miles per hour, a foot off the ground, I'm going to tell you, I do it 2 feet off the ground, 2 to 3 feet off the ground, if it's level ground. If it's like the beach or sand, I don't go lower than 3 feet, because if the sand comes up 1.5 feet or 2 feet, I can still adjust. Yeah, see. Acro will bring you up your speeds up to about 90 miles an hour, 85, 90 miles an hour. Trust me, guys, slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah, that's all. But we need to get on with tonight.
Really? But Lawrence, I see there has been an insurance app release for drone pilots. And
a new insurance app, actually, right?
A new insurance app is an instant drone insurance app. It allows unmanned pilots of these aircraft systems, the unmanned aerial systems,
yes,
to operate and purchase their insurance either hourly or annually.
Right.
Yeah, on policy. Now, this is if you want to protect your investments, I guess. I don't know how. I haven't used this. I just heard that it just came about.
Yeah. It's similar to Verifly.
It says I saw this a few days ago.
prices start at $9 per hour for up to $1 million of coverage. Now,
Yeah,
keep in mind, go ahead first.
yeah, but Verify, if I'm not mistaken, that was just. Did they offer annual insurance?
No, they didn't. They offered on the fly. This one, Aeromoto,
This is
they
offered
offer,
annual,
right, you could have a yearly plan, which
right?
depending on how much flying you do. Now, I want to let you know, a lot of companies out there do not go with Verifly because even though Verifly is an online insurance,
Mm-hmm,
on the spot insurance,
mm-hmm,
some companies like
mm-hmm,
Disney and other ABC and a couple of stations, you
mm-hmm.
need to have insurance through an actual air insurance company. They want a physical company,
Like
which
who?
means the virtual app will not work. They will not accept
Like who?
Verify.
Who do they want?
Now, because this has,
Well,
unlike Verify, an annual plan,
would
that
they
might
accept that?
qualify it. Huh?
Would they accept that? Because what I thought was interesting with this is that this not only this is not or it doesn't or they can use like I said for hobbyists and
Mm-hmm.
this is also because this is what they marketed towards hobbyists and towards the commercial industry as well because
Right. I have
it's
the
saying
price list up now.
that you can insure your drone or you can insure your fleet as well as multiple pilots on your policy.
So this is a lot more complicated because I'm reading here, and they do have one that says 500 medical payments per person, liability limits up to 10 million. This is the one, the Aeromoto, that I think they're trying to sell the most. And if you're flying somewhere and you want to be insured up to starting at $1 million, this would seem to be the better plan. I think this competitor A, B, and C are starting price per day $35. It depends on the coverage. I would have to look into it a little more because it goes into liability limits up to 25 million in areas for commercial operators and up to 2 million for recreational users. Now, see, Verify does not say that. Verify insists that you be a commercial pilot, Part 107.
Right.
So that's a little more interesting.
All I'm
So
saying.
so what they're saying is for $9 an hour, let's say you're flying in a park or near a park somewhere and you are worried about breaking something or crashing your drone, well, you can cover your behind.
Well,
This is not a
it's
paid
funny that
endorsement.
it's funny you say that. Well, with the new laws coming into play, I think this one might turn over more towards your commercial pilot because for something like this would only be necessary in time for someone who's using remote ID and everything. So
Yes. And it works on Android and iOS. So
iOS, yeah.
here's a link. Check it out. Play around with it. Why not? What the hell? Hey,
Android,
Angie. Angie, what's
Android.
good? Angie. Hey, Angie. See, if she was from Brooklyn, she would hear that a lot, right? To see, hold on. Come see me when you all fly at a few feet off the ground with a drone the size of a small fridge.
What happened? What happened?
That's Raymond. He was saying, come see me when you fly a few feet off the ground with a drone the size of a small fridge. He must be talking about that T-30.
You know what, Draymond? You know what?
Yeah.
Stop
What's up?
showing. Stop.
Huh?
Stop showing up.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me kill this. I thought I had the camera off. My bad.
Stop showing off over there, Draymond.
Insurance with an
Draymond
underwriter.
drives a
Yes.
bus.
Yes, that's exactly it. Draymond's got it down right there.
Draymond
Now,
flies a
I'm
bus.
being honest about this. I'm being very honest about this.
Yeah.
Before I became a 107 pilot, I did use Verify because the guy, I was doing a roof inspection. I'll admit it. I was doing a roof inspection. The guy said, "Are you insured?" And I was like, "Well, I am now." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I pulled out Verify and I had my card set up and I said, "I'm insured up to $1 million in damage, depending on certain circumstances." But now I don't have to worry. Now I don't have to worry about that kind of
You
stuff.
heard that FAA before
Hold it,
you.
what is it? I'll come see you, Dre, recover when you do a vid of the drone that size 1 foot off the ground.
Mhm.
Bob Casey says, Dre, I'll come see. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, let's see it.
Just to go see you. Oh, and for that, good weather too. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, he's out west, of course.
You working, Angie? Yeah, I know you.
Yeah, Angie, and you at work chilling? What's going on?
Well, she says
How
she's
are you?
working.
Oh, all good. Just work, work, work. Oh, see, she's in a Rihanna mode. You see, work, 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 right?
No, 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 no. Deanna was talking about a totally different kind of work.
Oh, I know, but she definitely was. Unfortunately, Aeromoto hourly users are offered coverage in the United States only. Aeromoto users must reside in the United States and have a valid mailing address. Thank you, Gary.
What happened?
It says Aeromoto hourly users are offered coverage only in the United States. So we need to clarify that and say if you
I'm
live in the
sorry,
United States,
Gary.
you could use it. But Gary, you'll be down here for this for the meetup.
I'm sorry, Gary. I can
I
give
can't
you an
remember
address
the
you
one
could
I
use.
used, but they're pretty good. I guess I don't know. Overpaid, but did $400 for the whole year.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
All
not
right.
too bad.
Yeah.
Now, did
Yeah.
they cover just one drone or did they cover the whole fleet?
Right. But because this company seems to be recovering you could have your whole fleet covered, which
Yeah,
is
and
smart because if
multiple pilots.
yeah, which is smart. If you go out on a job, I like the fact you can buy it for up to a year.
Ooh.
$9 an hour isn't bad. I can't get this insurance, Gary says, because he is in. That's right. He doesn't even have an address here in the States.
Told you, Gary, I can give you an address you could use.
There's no building there, but he can give you an address.
Listen, 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 listen. It's an address.
Looking forward to being on your live stream. Okay. Well, anyway, I
It's an address.
am going to close out that, but it's
I'll,
called Air Moto. Here's the link again. Um,
it's, a,
you never
it's
know.
it's an
You
idea.
never know.
It's just another
It's
thing that you
information
have
for you guys out there
in case you
that
need it.
don't have, huh?
It's more just something out there in case you need it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
heard it. I'm
definitely.
sharing it. I just what it is.
Right.
I,
Each one teach one. We show you about it. Um, I think that's about it for that.
was it?
I thought so.
Oh, you know, I was looking at
Sell that address, Herman. Jim's droning said.
uh,
What
you
happened?
what's this here? This guy here, John Thorne, is a Republican from I think it was in South Dakota, and this other gentleman from Virginia, is it Mark R. Warner, was a Democrat. Now they find there's a strong desire for a need for this American Drone Act of 2023. And
Yeah.
once again, they're talking about legislation, that simplifies the approach to for beyond visual line of sight flight. And
Right.
the reason for such behind this is because their interest in the ability to transport goods across the country, with you know beyond the visual line of sight.
Okay.
And this is what their thing, like, more simplifying the means to the approach, well, of the certification for it. And I think that's already been has been being done now, right? You know,
I
like
had thought so also, because there are a
right.
few companies that have applied for beyond visual line of sight
Mhm.
and
Right. But
have been given those the
then,
ability to do so.
right, but you remember you had to have the waiver and the the exemption,
Hmm.
and what I found was that you know, with that saying, I remember we talked about with Percepto and what
Yeah,
Percepto showed the FAA that what they do goes above beyond above and beyond what they actually asked for, because the whole pre-flight inspection as far as under 107 does not state that you must be present. Remember
right.
that whole talk that they had with Preceptor? Yeah, that. And so I've seen that, like, some of these things. I didn't, you know, nobody really knows what the FAA do. The FAA will do what the FAA will do on that. But I talk about these two state senators spoke on that act, and talk about for a strong need for it. So,
What was interesting about the fact that they were senators, but they were senators from opposing parties, and that's a rarity when you see senators from opposing parties get together on something
other than a difference,
constructive,
one of
right?
us different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly my point.
yeah.
Now, the whole deal with this is they're basically saying, if we want drones tomorrow to be manufactured in the United States and not in China, we
Hmm.
have to start working today to
Yep.
integrate them into our airspace. And I
Hmm.
agree 1000%, because you know what's stopping us from doing all of this? The fact that the FAA,
Regulations.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it speaks to.
And
Because
if you,
so not to cut you off, but when you get down to the nitty gritty of it,
mhm.
everything that is possible is being stopped because the FAA wants to make sure it dots all the I's and crosses all the T's, and make sure it's done.
Understandable.
And I get it, but the technology is moving faster than the process to get there.
Right,
You know, and
right.
you'll see that as we, you know, talk further on tonight. You see the thing that the process to get there. The guys, the technology these guys are perfecting. Look at the things we fly, the drones that we fly. Look at the technology that we fly. Could you
Yeah.
ever imagine that when you were a kid?
Not even. Not even. I had the balsa wood planes we made in shop, and I threw it, and it flew, and I ran after it, and it landed, and I threw it from that point, and I never thought I'd be controlling. I know they had tethered
Mhm.
ones. No, Bob Casey, I am not. We are not making South Florida drone meetup. Unfortunately, work is a little more of a priority,
Well,
but
that
if something comes
I have
up
a family thing
last
that I
minute,
have to do too.
yeah.
But
If something came up last minute, possibly, but it would be like last minute.
mhm.
But as for now, no, no.
I'm sorry.
It's money that
I would
needs to
like
be
to.
made.
I would love to go, but
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I did have
But
a good time last year, though.
getting back to the story, this
Mhm.
the fact that these two senators are trying to push through and come up with some kind of legislation that is a list, itemized list.
Mhm. Well, you know, I just feel that it's just, to me, it's about commercialization. All of this is about commercialization. They want to be able to
It
use
is
these
about
drones.
commercialization.
They don't. They want to be able to use the drones commercially, and I'm not talking about you filming something for, you know, for a company that's doing a TV show, or you getting B-roll for them, or you're inspecting something, or like hanging the drone off the side of the, well, not hanging the drone, but strafing the side of the building to look at the building facade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Similar with the building up the street.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
And with stuff like that. That not they don't talking about that. They talking about moving like some packages and stuff like that, or whatever they can.
Well,
look
this legislation, something needs
these
to be
drones.
written down. So,
Right.
and nothing,
Like
everyone's
written
talking,
down,
but no one's making
no,
notes.
right. What they're saying is that what they want is for the, I guess, the FAA to have basically a better guideline to the means to the end. And I
Yes.
think that they're already doing that, because if you listen to these guys who, well, at least the guys who are working as far as to the advanced air mobility, those guys you speak to, they're working more hand in hand with the FAA with them, from what I've seen out there. I don't know. I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
Well, the fact that what they're basically saying is we need something written down to get this ball rolling, because if we don't get the ball rolling as far as legislation, there are companies in the United States that have been approved to fly beyond visual line of sight, but because there's no legislation and it's being made up as they go along, it's taking even longer, this process.
Well, yeah, that's what we said. We understand that. But the FAA, I feel, has always been, show me what you want, and I'll show you where you fit in.
Right.
What do you have to do to get to where you want to be from there? You understand? Show me what you are.
I agree. Well, right now,
and
their main
show me what you
concern.
want, and I'll show you where you fit in, and then I'll tell you where you can go, where you got to go from there to get to where you want.
Right now, as far as where, if when we're talking about these drones launching and legislation, they're not forgetting about us UAS operators. In fact, they go on to say the new bill requires the FAA to establish a risk methodology. What would happen if? What would happen if? What would happen if? For example, operators of small UAS, this is about us. Small UAS under 55 pounds will need to declare that they've conducted a risk assessment and meet standard operation. That's standard anyway, that you're talking pre-flight checklists to do a commercial job. You understand? Now they're saying, well, operators of UAS between 55 and 1,320 pounds must submit a risk assessment as well. You have to have a pre-flight checklist. You have to have avoid and detect system. What is that? The DAA? I forget. Detect and avoid system.
Detect and avoid. Yeah.
Right. You need to have a detect and avoid system. The aircraft must also be able to be taken over in the event that there's an emergency. These are things that they're saying you need as a professional or drone pilot or a hobbyist. You need to know where you're flying and where you can fly. Understandable. If you're flying, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but now see, here's where the beyond visual line of sight comes in. If it's beyond visual line of sight, right, and you still you can take over. You're talking about from an autonomous flight.
Yes.
I got
Yes. From
because
autonomous.
most of these
correct.
things will be flown autonomously.
Yes. And then there's also what we were going to get into a little later on also, but I didn't know this until this week after reading the article. But here in the United States,
really,
well, let's say in Europe, a drone pilot can fly up to 30 drones autonomously. Here in the United States, a drone pilot with the right certifications can only fly up to 6 drones simultaneously.
That's with a waiver.
Right, with a waiver, correct. So these are things that need to be
under 107, you're only allowed to operate one drone at a time.
correct. So isn't it part 135 and a couple of other certificates that you need to be able to fly commercially, or it's the actual company that needs the 135 themselves? I may have it mixed up.
Part 135 is for the company to be certified as basically an airline.
Okay,
carrier.
okay.
So
I
you're
was mixed
carrying
up.
goods. You're not operating to film anything, inspect anything. You're operating for carrying goods. There's been exceptions under that part for drone usage because there are no humans on board.
Right.
UPS and them have the same certification for their planes that carry goods.
Right.
There's
Right.
certification. So there are things that are been exempt for the drones to be able to operate that way.
And when I say commercial drones, I mean for us as well as delivery drone pilots, but it's commercial drones, they say provide a big service to the American public and workforce.
Right.
But something has to be written down.
Well, how do you write it down? I mean, you gotta see what the problem is with that. They're gonna just
well, they have AUVSI. The gentleman here, he's the advocacy officer for Association for Uncrewed Vehicle Systems International, AUVSI.
It's a lot, right?
Huh? It is a
lot
lot.
to say, right?
You gotta read it because you can't remember that shit. The regulatory challenges are not driven by safety, they're hampered by bureaucracy. But because AUVSI, the advocacy officer, blah, 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 wants to team up with these two senators to help push this through.
That's a perfect organization to help.
Right. So they're not saying that whatever they come up with, the FAA is going to say, oh, we could use this, take that out, change this clause right here. But somebody has to get something working and document it.
Well, the reason why I say that about them is that at least you have someone at the table that knows what the hell they're talking about.
Right. As opposed to people who don't fly drones and making the laws. You know, it's usually a person, and I won't say it. Never mind. Never mind, because I was about to go into a little rant, but never mind.
You know what, Lawrence, we did not do?
Say no more.
And a break from the sponsors, because Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
those guys. Salute to you and our sponsors, of course. But
yeah,
getting back to this, you got to figure, because the FAA is saying this is what you must do to qualify to fly. Everyone's complying. The eVTOL companies are getting their waiver certificates to take off and test. They're talking late 2024. A few companies are moving to 2025. The point is, it's coming, whether they're ready or not.
Well, keep in mind, like I said to you before, technology is moving a little faster than the regulation.
Hey, Uncle Bill, what's up?
And when we start talking about beyond visual line of sight, they're talking about commercial use. They're not talking about you with your drone and flying 6 miles down out the park.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. They're strictly for commercial.
Yeah,
but it also shows how we will integrate into that commercial airspace.
Well, that's down the line.
Because they're claiming that drones 55 pounds or less will still remain within the 400-foot ceiling. Drones that are 55 pounds and higher will, of course, have to fly in a much higher altitude.
They're big trucks.
Yeah.
I get it. That's not your average off-the-shelf.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But as far as delivery drones that are delivering medication, and forget about that box of pizza and all of that. They're doing it in places. They're just testing. They're making your mouth water. Ooh, we got drone delivery in Virginia.
Check this out.
Once they figure out Huh?
But if you look at how that's done, Flytrex and these companies that are doing this,
Mm-hmm.
they're working with major chains
Yeah.
that can get into this kind of game. You know, that Sal's Pizza that you love up the street,
Yeah.
Sal can't charge you $40 for
For a 12-inch pizza.
for a $20 pie, you know what I mean? And legitimize that. He can't,
Right. Right.
because he gotta pay for drone operation services to deliver your pizza. That's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen, you know.
Right. But as far as the Amazon delivering
You
a
know,
minimum, maybe you have to
who
have a
knows?
$10 minimum, a
Well,
$15 minimum. It's coming. It's just
well,
a matter of when. Now, when
well
they create these UTMs,
mm-hmm,
these unmanned traffic management systems,
mm-hmm.
all of this stuff that we're talking about will have to integrate into that. In Europe, I think they call it U-Space.
Well, yeah, but when you talk about all of this stuff later on down the line, right? You have drones that they've been developing. We talk about some of them here that can carry a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Uh-huh.
So, and what was that with the big joint there with 3 skids in it, the Nuva
I
that
know. I'm
that
from.
was
I know which one you're
100.
talking about.
Yeah,
The
come
heavy
on.
cargo drone.
These things are not small, and they're they're quite sized, can carry a little bit of a load.
Yes.
They're not what we fly for, for getting, taking pictures and stuff. This thing is going to be flying up there somewhere, God knows where, up there.
Right. Exactly.
But by the time like I said, is something that is regular,
I have one here, actually, while you're talking. Keep going.
by the time that's something that's regular, I don't think that, I don't, I don't, I don't know, man. Listen, they talking about in a few years we'll be able to fly and shit. So I don't know, bro.
Well, for example, like this drone here claims to be able to carry up to 500 pounds. Stuff like this, the only time you're going to see it is when it's landing and taking off because it'll probably be so damn high. The only time you'll see it
Mhm.
is through that transitional space.
That's what's carrying the cargo inside that bucket.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but this drone is autonomous where you
Mhm.
can leave this bucket outside your house or
Mhm.
whatever or in a field and it will roll and park over that bucket automatically
I
and
got you.
clip it right.
Pick it up and take it.
Yes, and pick it up. This was one of the stories we had did a
I
while
got
back.
you.
But this is
I got
one of those drones. It'll be able to land and taxi its way over the cargo compartment and and take off, and as
Mhm.
well as drop them and or move them around.
Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So that's like going to be a service that I have for this guy to deliver stuff for me in these buckets from one area to
Yes, you could
another.
have 3 of them outside your warehouse, and at
Oh, I
some
got
time
to
and
own
point.
them myself, or is it a
Oh no,
service?
no, no, no. That's part of the service.
Oh, okay.
On this particular one, L drone that I just posted, their service is for hiring them. You get a certain amount of containers, or you may need 1, or you may need
Mhm.
5, and the drone will autonomously transport these containers up to 500 pounds backwards, back and forth between wherever you want or wherever they have to go. Halfway through my first beer, so I can't excuse that either.
What
Enjoy, man.
happened?
Cheers, Uncle Bill. He was saying that he's a clod with big fingers typing on his phone. But I
Oh,
said that's because you've been drinking, jokingly, and he says halfway through his first beer.
well,
So I'm like, go ahead and enjoy, man.
it's all right, man. Have a
Enjoy. It's okay. You're
but
entitled.
you-
Huh?
that this delivery thing, like I said, your mom and pops, they're not going to be able to absorb something like that.
Exactly. I do not see that happening either.
And once again, even if you got somebody with a drone that could actually deliver this stuff, right? Let's say you got your regular off the shelf, or maybe not even off the shelf, something you might have purchased that's like your enterprise level squad
Yeah.
that could probably do this,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. So basically, because you haven't passed any of the FAA certification to be able to have this system set up to
Right.
do what you're doing, you're just operating with your 107 out there doing your thing to deliver these pizzas. So
Mm-hmm.
what are you making on this deliveries?
Oh well, I would like to see. Must be nice.
No, I'm
Whoever
just
gets
saying.
that first
Like, what did
contract.
you negotiate with the pizzeria that they're gonna actually kick up the price to have you deliver these pizzas
Hey,
down
Lake
the street
Pilot.
that the guy outside with the scooter can't do?
True. True. I mean, the guy with the scooter, by the time, the way they drive here in New York, by the time you get your pizza, it's probably a folded over pizza, but that's just here in New York. I don't see what they could offer you more than that
Here's,
driver.
here's what the guy's gonna tell you. Here's the guy's gonna tell you. My customers, they live like 20 blocks that way, or 20 blocks that way, 20 blocks that way, 20
Right.
blocks that way. I don't need your service. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a guy on a bike that can do it for a lot less.
Yeah, he makes tips.
You know, and
At
who
the end of the
knows?
night, I feed him pizza. He's good.
At the end of the night, I give him a pie and his tips, right? Hey, Wayne B, how are you?
He's good. No, but no, seriously, I don't see that being possible. Just joking with that. But I'm seeing with this that's always been the thing about push for commercialization with the drone industry. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, the drones that we fly. I mean, all our rules are set in stone, I guess, right now, pretty much
For now, yeah.
for
For
now.
now. For
But
now. And for
until
now, I'm gonna
wind
keep
blows,
enjoying it. And don't be like some of the guys, and I'm just saying some of the guys further out west. Don't be like these guys
out
and
west.
oh, they're trying to take my hobby away from me.
Oh, here
They're
we go.
trying to tell me how high I can fly, how far I can go. No,
Well,
they're not. They're just saying, have
um,
some patience. The
you've
rules
always
of the
been
game are
told how high
changing
you can
some.
fly.
Huh?
You've always been told how high you can fly, and it's always been about safety.
I know that.
You
So
know,
stop complaining and just jump on the bandwagon.
don't,
Plain and simple.
no,
If
but
you
there's always been how high you can go, and those rules have always been there. From
yeah,
well,
well,
no, I shouldn't say that. For most people,
true.
if you got into this within the last 7 years, 8 years, those have always that's been the thing.
That's been the way to do it.
How
And
high you can go. Because when I first I listen,
what's up, Corey?
there's old videos out there with DJI guys with the Phantoms taking them up into the clouds from in front of their homes, just taking it off up into the air. The
Yeah.
600. I saw a guy took the 600 up into the clouds, couldn't get it back down.
Silly boy.
I've seen a lot of these videos. I've seen the Grand, well, actually, DJI, what was it, marketed the drone with the Grand Canyon shot.
Yeah, I think it was brilliant for
Can't even do
marketing,
that.
but it was brilliant for marketing, but a lot of people thought if I brought the drone, I could fly the Grand Canyon.
Can't
Oh,
fly it.
hell no, you can't.
Well, at that time you could.
Yeah, true. True.
You know,
Now, don't
now
even
with
think
the
about it.
rules and things like that against it, you can't. You know,
This is very true.
you can't. You know, but and I don't know. I had asked you one time if you ever sent a drone out for repair to DJI.
Yeah, you have, but I have never.
No, because the one thing I thought was interesting that back when I was sending out stuff for repair, DJI was that company that never repaired your drone unless it was like an enterprise model, where they
Right.
repaired your drone and sent it back to you. What DJI used to do was just take your drone and give you the next one that was in the queue that had met their standards for operation. And every time I got a drone back, it was eligible for a care refresh. You know, I don't know how it works now, if they still do the same thing when you have a drone that you get from them.
Right.
It's because I know that the reason for why it's eligible for care refresh was that they know that the drone has been tested, it meets their standard for operations.
Which starts it all over.
Right. So you don't have to worry about doing the test and and all that. If you get the care, I believe you get the care, you can get the care refresh on it as soon as you get it back from them.
Right.
If you
Well,
choose.
see, that's a good thing because I was telling you earlier, Ron had an issue with his Mini
Mhm.
3
Yeah,
Pro.
you mentioned that to me.
Right. He damaged the arm and it's
Mm.
it and he got it back from them for cheaper than what a local shop wanted to repair it for because it was care refresh.
No,
But
that's good.
I agree with you, Bob Casey. I don't think it's going to be a big seller to people who already know how to fly drones. But for
Right.
that person who's doing research and wants a DJI drone and $500 is too much, well, guess what? 370 is a lot better than 500.
And even
Avata,
like for
Avata
school.
SE Deluxe.
Oh, here we go.
There we
Even
go.
like a
Uncle
school,
Bill,
what's
the
that come
Avata
with the
Pro.
what does that come with? The better mats, the better
The
floor mats,
better floor mat. The
the
Avata
racing
Pro,
stripe on the
Uncle
seat.
Bill's toys. Well, because we all know if it doesn't say pro on it, we don't
Oh,
want
here we go.
it. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you, if DJI comes out with a
Man to man.
Mavic 3 Pro, imagine that.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Mavic 3 Pro.
It would be interesting, but you know what? I wouldn't care. I have the drone that I wanted to get. And hey Charlie, what's good? Charlie, thank you so much for that information on those motors. Um, I have the drone that I want, Herman. I have the classic, and I basically am very, very happy.
Here's when you'll care.
What?
Here's when you'll care. And this is how funny.
When the Pro has LiDAR on it?
No, no,
What?
no. Remember when I started saying to you earlier, and I told you about the question that was proposed about the drones and being able to find one drone that does all of those one things that the Phantom 4 Pro did, but with a better sensor, better camera, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Let's say DJI came out with a Mavic 3 Pro. Now, keep in mind that you have a mechanical shutter on your enterprise drone, but the enterprise drone is not for cinematic shooting.
True.
Right.
True.
And
Yes.
and I'm not quite sure of what what you can do as far as the camera is concerned, but I know that it has a mechanical shutter. So let's say that they came out with the same thing like with your Phantom 4 Pro, your all-in-one with your cinematic shooter as well as a drone that you can use to do this type of work with, not collapsing either one of the two platforms per se. Then to talk about the argument and to talk about the SDKs will still continue to work to flourish because now
Right.
guys will ask for it to be able to use that same drone, that one solution to do these things. You know,
Right.
But then that drone would not be capable of. And see, this is where you go back to like how they market stuff. That same drone would not be capable, just like the Phantom 4 Pro, of having the RTK set up on it like you can with the Enterprise drones. You feel where I'm going from?
No, I understand totally.
There's a whole way of finding a way to fit it right in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
And I
saying?
understand, as a business, they are doing exactly what a business is supposed to be doing, making money.
I'm not knocking. I'm just saying like what it was a what if. You know. Is that who I think it is? And they fix
Yes,
it?
Dan the man. He had
Dan.
made a statement earlier, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That didn't sound right.
What
But
he say? What he say? What he say? What he say?
he said, he was talking to Uncle Bill. He says, hey, Uncle Bill, are you ready to touch tips yet? And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He wasn't talking about. I just thought it sounded weird. It read weird. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm never hugging Dan, not even sure about handshaking. Oh wow.
Wow.
Dan's the man. Dan's very, you know what? Dan is that kid that was in school that you saw in the corner and everybody said, leave him alone, leave him alone.
Wow.
And then somebody went and fucked with him and the beast came out and they said, see, I told you, leave him alone. That's all. You can shake his hand, bro. You can shake his hand. He won't bite it off. I mean, I felt kind of bad at last year's South Florida drone meetup because I did notice Dan showed up there, Herman.
Yeah.
Remember? He showed up there specifically. He said he wanted to meet both of us. And he got to meet us. And I felt kind of bad because a few people didn't know Dan was coming. And for some reason, if you didn't know, Dan kind of presses people's buttons every now and then.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? And I have to admit this one, and I'm gonna say this real quick, and we'll move on.
Okay.
Because it came, it was funny. And it's even funnier now. But when I first got into the whole thing with the live streams and hanging out with a lot of talking with guys and that I've met, there was like the whole drone worship. Don't mess with that guy. No, that guy's bad news. He's trouble. He's trouble. And then I got to meet the guy, and I know the
right.
Harmless.
I know.
Just don't poke the bear. I mean,
right. Just don't poke. I say it all the time. Don't poke the bear with the stick. I say it all the fucking time. If you poke a bear and you get your head bit off, whose fault was it? Yours, because you poked a bear.
Although Dan, when he has his opinion and he's going to state it, and that's just that.
Yeah, well, see, he just put, I will always be the king of controversy. I don't like to fit in. I don't like to follow the same dance, because the shirt he wore at the South Florida drone meetup last year was, I violate YouTube guidelines or some shit. Yeah. And when we were in the restaurant, the guy goes, "Yeah, I like that shirt." And Mark says that's what they said. Barkley, what's good, man? Barkley's got it exactly. Walk softly and carry a bear killing stick.
I thought it was a big stick. Now it's a bear killing stick.
Right. See, Charlie, you get it. Dan is a good dude. He enjoys getting a rise from people. That's all. Listen.
You know what?
Listen, eventually they will catch on. But the point I was making was he came to South Florida drone meetup, Herman, and I know we got to move on.
He's cool.
Don't worry. He's cool. He's cool. He's harmless. He's freaking harmless, man. We went out, we broke bread, we flew FPV, we hung out for the day, everything, man. I didn't even know these guys, and you were on one side of Florida, and I was on another side of Florida with Dan and his boy, you
Uh-huh.
know, and a couple of other people.
Okay.
But let's get back to where we are.
But you know what, Lawrence? I was sniffing around in the some naval news magazine, and
Yeah,
yeah, US week UAS week.
AUVSI,
No,
ABCJK.
no, no,
No,
no, no.
I'm just messing with you, man. Go
U
ahead.
UAS UAS weekly.
Okay.
Come on, stop it.
Okay, Lance,
Yes.
how are you? Serious face.
No, no, seriously. The UK's Minister of Defense.
Yes.
Yeah, they have awarded this prestigious the prestigious uncrewed air system contract to what's this Sheeble and Thales.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You know their contract, is going to provide the Royal Navy with the advanced camcopter S-100 UAS.
This is it right here. Keep
We
going.
spoke about the camcopter a million times over here, and
Weatherproof, tested by the Coast Guard.
and what, I found out some stuff about the camcopter that I did not know, but
What's it?
well, I'll get into that, but this thing here is this thing has been proven to be able for protection of ships and during operations and different tasks at sea. Sheeple and Thales will integrate their different range of high precision intelligence and surveillance and reconnaissance sensors into the into this operation for this drone, into we can call it the S-100 is what
Yes.
the drone is actually called. Naval News actually says this, and this is not something I didn't know. Naval News says that the in over the last 15 years, Sheeple camcopter has been operating routine wing UAS operations in what is it, over 25 different for 25 different customers.
I could believe it because the militaries.
In maritime drone use.
I was going to say that because we've done stories on certain militaries testing it out. The Coast Guard has tested it out and
China
used it a
even
few
used
times. It can handle almost up to hurricane winds. She's waterproof. She flies in the rain. She flies in all weather conditions better than most drones out
average,
there.
yeah.
She's battle tested, let's say.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a helicopter.
It does. It's a miniature helicopter, but I put the video there because
she's very adaptable, because the first story that we did with it, they were actually testing emissions, ship emissions with
right. They were actually measuring the ship emissions, if I recall right. Yes. Hey, Tony, what's good, man? Welcome to the stream. And the good thing about this Sheeple drone, which I've seen, we've done a few stories with it, about it. And each story that we've done, somebody else is using it in another way, shape, or form. The UK ministry does want to use it for surveillance and defense. This thing can see better than a lot of the stuff out there. The camera gear. If you play the video that I put there, if you play it back, do they sell it on Amazon? You wish.
Check.
I wish.
Go check.
But Herman,
what?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, what we gonna say?
What I like about it is this isn't our first live stream on the S100. Just off the top of my head, I remember doing about other stories concerning
That's
this
because
particular
of the
copter.
versatility of the drone. It's very adaptable to
Hmm.
different payloads that you want to use on this thing for what it can do. You know, it's
Yeah.
once again, once you get flight down pat and the flight is good and you can use it, then after that, being able to have different payload capabilities on it is another thing.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
She's
It
very
does it
adaptable.
is able to carry different payloads up here in the nose. Um, from what I've seen this thing in storms, landing on ships in the storms with crazy winds. I've seen this thing do surveillance. Further, I brought it up because the surveillance part of this bird that they show here on the map, supposedly they can identify stuff from so far out that you wouldn't even know the damn thing's looking at you. You understand what I'm saying? That the
Yeah,
range
well,
on this is crazy.
Well, like I said before, this thing is. They say it has more than what is it? What is it? A wing UAS operations with this thing, like wing for this drone itself
Yeah.
has over 25 different customers, right, using this thing in maritime operations, right?
Okay.
Now, and this thing they said has completed over 2,000 deck landings.
Yeah. And we're talking in all kinds of environments.
So they're landing this thing on ships that are out at sea.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I would love to see it at work, but I just don't want to go that far out at sea to see it.
See, that's what I'm not cool with. You give me a pair of binoculars, I might be able to
No,
accommodate.
you can't use binoculars to see where they're at, man. They're out there.
Yeah, see, that's the only
They're
thing.
out there.
I would
No binoculars.
I would
You gotta
feel
take a
like I'm
cruise.
out there at the control desk where I can see it on radar. Okay, it's
Uh-huh.
12 miles out. It can see this. I can look at the live feed like a regular drone. I'd be cool with that, but I wouldn't want to be out there in the water. Yeah, that's right. You know, I cannot swim. I do not play with large bodies of water. Listen, listen, if it doesn't have 10 or more life vests, I'm not getting on it.
Life vest.
Listen, I'm
How
grabbing
big
two.
is the craft you talking
I
about?
don't give a damn. I'm grabbing two for myself.
Wow.
So one each arm.
Wow. So what do you tell the women and children?
Well, first of all, women and children shouldn't be in a sinking ship, but I'm grabbing two.
Ships are not supposed to go out to sink. It's an emergency, an accident. Something happened.
Planes aren't either. Plane just fell 1,400 feet the other day and it caught its wind 700 and something feet before it hit the ocean. Yeah, that's okay.
And what happened to the people?
What happened to the people? A few of them got nauseous, but they made it to where they were going. But it just happened the other day. A plane dropped 1,400 feet after takeoff.
Wow.
Just straight down towards the ocean. The guy, they interviewed a guy on the TV. He goes, all I know is I started feeling like I was on a roller coaster. My stomach was up in my throat, and I saw the ocean coming up really fast.
What size plane was this? Because
hold on, let me check. Let me check.
If it was a regular, excuse me, commercial airliner, thank God for pressurized cabins.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It
Because
was pressurized. It was a passenger plane. Oh, here it is. Here it is. United plane plunged to just 800 feet in the Pacific. Huh?
Plunged to just 800 feet?
United Airline, yes. it fell from, it just took off. Hold on, I'm
How
gonna pull it
far?
up. So I'm gonna show you guys right now. Hold on. I'll pull it up right now. It says United plane plunge 800 feet above the Pacific after takeoff. Supposedly, story goes, investigators are seeking more information. The plane was at 1,400 feet or 470 meters, and it dropped down to just about 800 feet above the ocean before they regained control. This was the actual plane that it, well, not the actual plane, but the type that it was. And from what I understand, here's the flight path of it. It took off here, took off, took off, took off, took off. It went, of course, they go up and down and dropped 1,400 feet. At this point right here, it was about 700 and change. They rounded it off to 800 feet, and then they regained control. If you see it's yellow, warning, warning, danger, danger, Will Robinson. And they took off and continued their flight. I would have been like, let's turn this bitch around and see why that happened, but they kept going.
Hold on, you see what happened to Barkley?
No.
Well, if you look, he's talking to Tony about his Avada.
Oh no, I didn't see. Crashed my Avada today and couldn't find it for over an hour. It shut down due to overheating, so I couldn't beep it. Sent it, the Mini 2 up and finally found it in tall weeds. Link us. Oh, that's the. Let me put that link back up.
So
plane falls.
It overheated while it was flying, or it overheated while it was on the ground while you was trying to find it? That's tough, because I know doing updates and setting up anything with like the Mini 3 or Mini 2.
There it is, Bob Casey.
I just put it by the air purifier so it can stay cool while I do those updates.
So something about won't do that again. It was sitting in the Avada case.
Oh, well, you know what, Lawrence, and moving on to this is strange, talking about in the drone delivery. We was just talking about in drone delivery. 20 drones to one pilot. Wow.
Yes.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, well, drone delivery system and developer Matternet was granted an FAA 20-to-1, I guess you say, waiver.
Yes, one pilot can fly 20 drones.
Yeah, that would allow them the ability and the capability to conduct operations that will what they call simultaneously deploy a total of 20 aircraft and one pilot.
Yes.
This is interesting now. See what we're starting to go with now?
Where technology's changing.
I know that Matternet has a set I don't know how that waiver works with them. But they're able to operate beyond the visual line of sight now.
Yes, they are. And I want to point out with this app really quick. This app, they point out, it will not take off unless you use the app and tell the app that the drone is secure and the package is under. It will not take off. So,
well, the beauty of this system with this app that you're talking is that if you're not working within the medical facility,
right,
you won't have access to this stuff anyway.
True.
So it's not like you got to worry about them jacking your liver.
This has always been an issue with delivery drones, and that is the drone can get to a spot and land, but once it lands, it loses radio signal. So if it has an autonomous takeoff feature that you can initiate through the app or say that the package is secure, I could see that happening. But for those of you who don't know about these things, and this is why the local drug dealer or whoever goes, can I use a drone to deliver drugs? No,
Sure
you can't, you dummy. Oh yeah, you could, dummy.
Sure,
but you're not getting your drone back.
It's not legal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why when they start talking about that nonsense about putting in laws that prohibit you from using your drone to deliver drugs is kind of stupid, because that's like, is there another way that I can deliver the drugs legally? Delivering drugs into a prison is illegal no matter how you get it there.
Right. But Uncle Bill's Toys, take it easy, bro. My thing is, a lot of these drone companies have taken this into account. And that is, if they're dropping, that's why a lot of them are using tethered systems, because as long as it's in the air, it still has a signal. But some other companies are using the autonomous factor that once a box is dropped or picked up, after a certain time frame, you're requested to back away from it, and it will launch autonomously until it recovers.
Well, you're right, because most of the focus was always on like the hardware, actually on these type of things. But this thing here is more focused on the software aspect of this autonomous capability, because you're going to be able to operate 20 drones.
It's true, yes. Where I mentioned earlier, here in the United States, you can only operate 6. Barkley says, Herman, I think you need to add to your box collection.
You know what, Barkley, I'm about to get rid of the box collection.
Well, with the N1 controllers, you can kind of fill one corner.
The problem is that the boxes have the boxes that the bag or the box that they came with, and the controller inside of the boxes.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like let's go with the top box over here. The Mavic 3, the purse that they made it into that weird ass backpack. That's inside of the
box.
The styrofoam box for the Mavic. For the Phantom. The Phantom is in there. The Mini 3, the Fly More, the bag is still in there.
Okay.
The Mini.
So you could have a DJI bag sale too.
Mini 2 has got the controller in there. The
N1.
Yeah, the Air 2S, the bag is inside the box. I don't use the little bucket bag that they sell it with. Looks like a binocular bag.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I don't use those. They've turned from that to a stack of hard cases, so it's might as well get rid of it.
Hey Herman, we got an FPV one shot.
Yeah, we do.
You forgot about the one shot.
You know what? You made me forget about the gentleman's one shot, and I spoke to him. I told him
yes, we want to give this gentleman credit.
We will get his one shot in, and Lawrence made me forget about this gentleman's one shot.
He does not have a lot of subscribers. He's new. We want you
real new to the game
to support him. This is his first joint here. We're gonna play it with
Stefan. Was it Toma? Toma.
Yes,
Stefan Toma. He doesn't have very many subscribers to his channel.
Yes, please. I'm gonna put the link.
And it's a shot. I can't pronounce the name of the park. Lawrence is good at pronouncing the name of it.
When it comes up, I will.
It was a very relaxing one shot. I felt, when I saw it, it wasn't. It's nothing. It's not. Listen, you're not gonna get great. There's no special effects to it. It was just a great, smooth, cinematic, relaxing video when I saw it.
Yes, and this was shot on the Sin 25 HD. For those who are familiar with it, it was the Aadds competition at one time and point. It's a small size Sin Whoop drone designed to carry a GoPro. No, sorry. Right, you could put a GoPro on it, but it's the HD. This kind of reminds me of Flushing Meadows Park for some reason, Herman.
Really?
because of the water and the vastness, how
Oh,
far
okay.
everything is spread apart.
Well, for me, when I was looking at like parks, I was like, like here, right, Prospect Park, the is a big park, bigger than Flushing Meadows.
Right.
If you want to really get into the nitty gritty of it, or how it's laid out.
Yes.
But as far as the lake is concerned, is covered by a lot of trees.
Yeah. 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 But
You either got to fly
kudos to
over or
kudos to
up
the
and out.
young gentleman. I will post a link. Please go and add him. We told him we would play his video. We kind of lost track and went squirrel a couple of times,
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry, but this is Stefan Toma. Check
yes.
out his
I was
channel.
trying to find where he was located and I could not find him.
Oh, well, I found him, and
No,
we
in the
we
video.
spoke and we spoke through email actually,
Okay.
and I just
So
thought
we
that
do
the
have
way,
permission to play this video in its
right,
entirety.
right, the way it plays out, and the way he did it, I like this. Like here, coming up to the end, I like how he did this. Going back
Yes, because the people
to this
stopped on the
bridge.
bridge. If you look there, people stop on the bridge and they're like, wait, what's that going under the
Because
bridge?
it fades out as you're going under the bridge.
Right. But these two people walking across right here, watch, she's
Mm-hmm.
gonna go, hey, what's that? Oh wow, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna post his link if you're an FPV head or not. Um Give him a sub. He has very, very few subs. Like we said, he's new to YouTube.
He's got
Show
a
some
few
support.
videos
So
out there.
show some. Yes, he has a few videos, but he doesn't have a bunch of subscribers. So let's show him some support. He's actually picked up a few subscribers since I've actually um
Okay.
since I actually subscribed to him earlier today. He's
All
picked
right.
up. Hopefully, we'll see some more, and we'll get some more footage from him. Big credit
Now,
to Stefan Toma
you
for his
know,
FPV shot, and he did fly a ProTech 35 HD. I said 25; it was a 35 HD.
you lost it.
Ray of Sunshine, thank you so much. Been listening. Thanks for sharing this vid. Yes, please support him.
Mm-hmm.
Click like. Click like on his video. Click subscribe. Looks like he'll be coming up with some nice content
Okay.
in the near
Plus,
future. Yes.
in Aviation Weekly
Yeah.
and in advanced air mobility, we talk about this all the time. Well,
Hmm.
Santa Cruz base, Joby,
Yes.
guess what? They keep making strides, man. They
Really.
keep making strides. Yes. Well, because as from what I've read, um, the Advanced Air Mobility Company has recently announced that they have completed the second of 5 stages in the FAA's hoops and ladders. Well, no, in the FAA's certification process. That keeps them the company right on pace for their air taxi debut that's planned for 2025. Now there was
Okay.
originally a 2024 date that everyone was pushing for, and I guess that was they've been more realistic with the FAA's hoops and ladder performance techniques,
Yeah.
what they have to do to get this full certification for this.
I
But
didn't know what happened, but my Zoom had crashed twice, so I'm playing the video over. Keep going.
but this makes Joby the first eVTOL in the US to complete the second phase of this. And that's another milestone for them in getting this done. But the completion of their first stage was published back in November, and we spoke on it here on the November 9th on Wednesday night with those guys are 177. Joby, like I said, is pushing and pushing and pushing this to get this thing available. And what it is not, it seems like a novelty, maybe to some, but I think it's just like when we talk about replacing the, our fossil fuel driven vehicles.
Right.
They want to replace the same thing with air vehicles if it's possible to be able to sustain electric flight for that period of time. And I think that some of these companies are pushing to do that. And I think that some of them are meeting that criterion, like we were talking about earlier, that some of these companies, that their technology is ahead of the regulations.
Right.
We spoke about what these gentlemen talked about, the fact that what's really holding things back is regulations,
That's pretty much it. If we can get these regulations written down and people to stop talking about them, I think the United States will be able to hang in the eVTOL market.
Well, there's
as well
as
as
companies
eVTOL
here in the
community.
United States that are in it.
Right. There are companies in the United States. And you want to know what? Their drones are selling in Europe.
Joby.
Yeah. Yeah. Joby's American eVTOL company. Yes. Yes. And they're testing here in the States as well as on other continents. But they're doing better and getting faster approval on other continents than they're able to get in their homeland. Go figure. Herman, it's that time.
Wow. How time flies when you're having fun. Fun.
Listen.
No, but there's a lot of stuff happening, guys, and I just thank you guys for all coming and hanging out with us. I appreciate you all for coming and hanging out with us, and
we appreciate you all.
Yes, we do. We do appreciate you all. I shouldn't say I, but we do appreciate you all for coming and hanging out with us. We wouldn't hang out here and share this information with you and our opinions on some of it if if you guys didn't come and hang out with us. But thank you for coming. And with that, we'll say to you, we'll see you guys, I guess, next Wednesday when we're on again with some new and interesting stories to talk about.
Yes.
And with that, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have fun.
It's been fun.
How you say it, Lawrence? Be safe. Fly
be safe. Yeah, be safe. Fly safer.
And with that, good night, everyone.